Subscribe before we get into the story. I was clearing out unread emails when my phone buzzed again. A message from Claire popped up. My wife late again. It wasn't surprising anymore. She'd been swallowed by work for months. But this time, something in the timing felt wrong. I opened the text she sent earlier. Late tonight. Work dinner. Back late. Don't wait up. I stared at the screen glowing in the dark living room and just held the phone quietly, unsure how to even reply. Usually I'd brush it off. Life gets busy. She's a high-powered marketing manager. Back-to-back meetings, deadlines, exclusive events I wasn't included in. But tonight, there was a small edge in her tone, subtle but sharp. A whisper of something I couldn't shake. I typed, "That's strange. Your boss's wife was just asking about both of you." I hit send before I could rethink it. I wasn't accusing her. But something had been brewing for months, and I felt it starting to surface. I remembered how things used to be. When she'd send playful texts during the day. When she'd laugh at my dumb jokes. When she'd rush home excited to tell me about her day. But that was years ago. Somewhere along the line, the spark vanished. Our conversations turned into task lists, our laughter became forced, and our touches felt practiced instead of real. I ignored it for a long time, thinking she was stressed, tired, burnt out. I told myself this was normal routine. That couples evolve. But deep down, I felt the slow distance, the kind that builds inch by inch until it becomes an entire world between two people. Half an hour later, another message buzzed. "Leaving now. Don't wait." I didn't respond. I stood in the kitchen with a glass of water, my chest tight, thinking about all the small moments she brushed me away. Moments I kept telling myself didn't matter, but absolutely did. It wasn't this one night that broke me. It was a realization this was a pattern. Every "I'm too tired," every late event, every weekend she spent with people I never met, every time her phone held her attention more than I did. I tolerated it. I excused it. I rationalized it. But standing there alone at 11 p.m., I finally saw it clearly. I didn't need drama or a yelling match. I needed truth, presence, effort, the things she no longer gave. I picked up my phone, typed a reply, deleted it, then finally sent. "Thanks for letting me know. I hope the night goes well." Not anger, not pleading, just calm acceptance. Because that message wasn't about tonight. It was about the quiet realization that I had been waiting for validation from someone who stopped returning it long ago. By morning, she still wasn't home. I sat at the kitchen table, sunlight creeping through the blinds, letting the silence settle for once instead of escaping it. I saw clearly how much I had tolerated, hoping she'd one day meet me where I was. My phone buzzed. Sarah, Claire's closest friend, texted, "Hey, we heard you two were mentioned at dinner tonight. Everything okay?" I paused before replying. "Everything's fine. Just a normal work night." Hours later, Claire finally walked in, late, exhausted, distant, exactly like her message implied. She barely looked at me before sliding her phone across the table and heading to the living room. I watched her, noticing how rehearsed she felt now. Controlled, unreachable. We ate dinner quietly. She talked about work like she always did. Numbers, deadlines, names of colleagues who felt like strangers. I stayed calm, not cold, not hostile, just present, because I finally realized I didn't have to prove anything to her anymore. The silence between us wasn't a temporary glitch. It was a new normal she had chosen. The next few days looked exactly the same. But something in me shifted. I stopped bending my time around her unpredictability. I focused on myself again. My routines. My clarity. My peace. One evening she looked at me and said, "You seem different lately." I just smiled softly. Maybe I am. It wasn't a threat. It wasn't ego. It was acknowledgement. Relationships aren't only about love. They require reciprocity, respect, actual presence. And when one person quietly pulls away, the other eventually has to choose. Keep chasing or come back home to themselves. I chose myself. For the first time in months, I felt awake again. I felt alive again. And this wasn't the ending of our story. Not yet. But it was definitely the beginning of mine.